I drive my car up to the lake as if there's someone to awake. I haven't been to bed for days, I live in a twilight haze. And I set my heart to the setting sun, and I hope that no one else has done it. And the drinks are never far, open up the bar.
What I might do is I might just do a smartphone video. Or you guys can move closer.
Hello.
Yeah, so it's all about
Change. And going within.
all change. We used to play a game as kids called All Change, which was trains and stations and stuff. Haven't literally, that's one of those memories. I have not thought about that in decades since I was a kid.
That's so powerful because this is what it's all about. We don't think about things that have been such a huge impact on, like how many times did you play that game?
Oh, it's stored in my memory somewhere.
Exactly,
right?
and this is what happens. It pops up when we start allowing it to come through.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, we get into the... Are we filming?
We're going. Well, no,
okay.
we're live. But I'll do a proper introduction because that one wasn't really good. So welcome to the podcast, Jen and Desma. Milton, David. You used to come in heaps, Jen. You used to work just down the road, and that's how we met.
Absolutely, and this place held a huge part in my life when I was in the corporate world. I have to say that I really looked forward to coming in here every single morning, just about when I work, because that was my treat, my coffee.
Oh.
And coming in and seeing you guys were like the shiny light. And even no matter how tough it was through COVID, I would come in here and I would get this warm welcome. And so the coffee shop became a part of me, which was so amazing. And I think I will always forever have that connection with you guys. It's been, I think, over 2 or 3 years, actually 3 years now.
Since you've left?
Since I've left.
Yeah.
And I remember you asking me to do a podcast maybe 2.5 years ago, 2 years ago. And I wasn't ready, and here I am today. So
that's awesome.
Amazing.
We haven't done many lately. We've just been kind of caught up in other things. But no, that's great to hear because we love, obviously, being a little cafe, and we love our customers, and we love our conversations that we have. And they're always pretty random and stuff, and we're always pretty honest, and we just kind of let the conversations flow. And we probably share too much sometimes as well.
Yeah, but I think that's what makes you real.
Yeah.
And I think working in the corporate world, you have a lot of pressure.
It is. It's stressful for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
We see that. Yeah.
Yeah, and you see that.
And then we caffeinate people. Make it worse, probably.
Make them, more heightened. That's another topic.
Stressed about now. So since leaving Lee's, now you've got your own business, and and you go by your own name.
Yeah.
Jennifer Kean.
Jennifer Kean, mind-body practitioner.
Mind-body practitioner. So just
holistic life coach.
Yeah,
and
life coach.
I do the Erlen's screening on the sideline.
Yeah. Talk us through that. Life coach, do you have a particular kind of flavour as far as life coaching goes, or?
Yeah, so I'm a holistic life coach.
Mm-hmm.
So I look at the whole body. And the big thing for me is just helping people be seen, heard, and have a voice. And so to help them make a change. However that may look, I don't have a niche as such. I don't have a certain age group that I work with. My clients range from 23 to 70, which is quite amazing. I just trust that the right people come through the door, because people have to want to make a change, however that is. They've got to be ready for that, and they have to go within.
Yeah.
And I hold a safe, confidential and non-judgmental space, because a lot of people have things that they've locked away and they don't want to share. But when they come to my space, it's important that we go within, and then it sort of comes out so that we can work on it. We don't harp on the past. However, the past has a huge impact, doesn't it, on our life?
Totally.
And so moving forward, if we want to become the best version of ourselves, which is what I decided when I left the corporate world. I just looked at myself and said, who am I? What's my why? I don't want to live like this on autopilot for the rest of my life. I want to definitely do something that I love till the day I die.
Yeah.
And so here I am at 60, changing careers completely and starting afresh, which is actually so refreshing.
Yeah. Which was born out of your own kind of change.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, you know, I look back on my life, and I had an incredible life, but I also had a lot of things that popped up through my life. And I had to look at it, and I had to say, you know, why was I on autopilot? Why was I, you know, always the rushing woman syndrome?
Yeah.
Why was I a people pleaser? Why did I say yes to everything or say no and then decide, you know, 3 days later, I felt guilty, so I said yes to things that didn't align with me.
And do you see kind of patterns in people's stories and, like, I suppose, because throughout your life, you know, there can be moments of change, but often they're just sort of like change and then a lot of the same, and then all of a sudden there's a big change, and then there's like a big plateau again.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And that was a huge part of my life, because if you look at my life, I grew up in South Africa. I worked in a family business from day dot. I was the youngest of 6, and we all worked in this family business. So the minute, you know, I remember sitting on the counter as a little girl, and as soon as I could stand, I was packing hot cross buns or Christmas mince pies, and we worked every after school, holidays, and then I grew up in that business, and then I finally worked overseas, worked in America, worked in New Zealand. You know, and every time I started, I seemed to have these 10-year stints where I was either in a family business or was in public relations, national public relations manager for a company, or in America I worked for Michael Crichton, where I was his sort of right-hand person, and then I came to New Zealand, and then the earthquakes had happened, so I worked for Ballantyne's and did the container city where, as a project manager, and then through that I met Lise, and Anthony asked me, you know, if I wanted to come and work for them, and I worked for them for 10 years. So I've had this amazing life and careers, and they've changed, and I've just said...
There is a lot of change within that.
Absolutely, yeah. So, I thought, why can't I do it again? And why can't I help people do the same thing? So that's how I met Desma.
Cool. So is the idea that... because change implies that you're stuck. Like, well, I mean, or desiring change implies that maybe you're kind of stuck. And is that sort of, or is it just wanting to, do some people have a lot of change but it can be negative, and you're sort of looking for more positive and control over it and stuff?
Absolutely, yeah. So it can look so many different ways, kind of.
Right.
And at the moment what I do is I sort of design, when I'm working with somebody, each person is so different that I could have something planned for them for their session, online or in person, or I do walking sessions as well, and then we could meet, and I could say, no, this is not going to work today, because I get a feeling, and I can change direction. So it's depending on where they're at, I meet them where they're at, and so change looks different to everybody, but in the general sense of things, you know, if I look at the corporate world, you know, change could just be the way, you know, they're on autopilot, and they go to work and they're not enjoying their job. And is it the work, or is it just the fact that actually they also needing just to make a change with their attitude, and slow down and take control of their life within that company, and learn to say no to things so that they can show up as their best version at work and honour what their body is telling them.
Totally.
And Desma can talk on that. I mean, we met a year ago, was it? More than a year ago now.
Yep. And were you also in the corporate world?
No.
No?
No, we met while we were out hiking.
Yeah.
We both belonged to the same group, and I'd never met Jennifer before, but in the course of hiking we got talking about certain things, and Erland's popped up. And I said, well, what are the symptoms of it? And a lot of what she explained to me, I thought, that rang a bell with my children. And then I thought, hang on, it sort of sounds a bit like me as well. And so I thought, I'll go have a test. And during the course of that test, yes, I did have it. But also Jennifer mentioned that she did this holistic coaching, and at the time I didn't really feel I needed anything. But a few months later, my personal life took a downturn, and I was sort of in a space where I didn't really know how to go forwards. I was a bit lost. And so I approached her about trying it out. I did not know anything about it. And so anyway, I came along and had an assessment. She actually said, I don't think you're really into this.
I don't think I can work with you because...
Yeah, you're always that rude, Jen, to your clients.
Oh, hilarious.
So anyway, I reassured her that I was keen on doing this. I needed to do it. And here I am now. It was a pretty stressful time. And over the course of the sessions, like Jen said, some days she would want to talk to me about a specific topic. And then I'd get there and she goes, oh, well, that's out the window. We'll go and do something else.
Yeah.
But at the end of it, I mean, my life has changed considerably.
Wow, cool.
And she didn't do it personally.
No.
I did.
Yeah.
But she enabled me to do that by sort of digging into things that I hadn't really thought about.
Yeah.
And then I'd have to go away and do some homework.
Yeah.
And that could be quite difficult at times.
Yeah.
But it actually gave me the opportunity to vent things out that had been repressed. And that relieves a burden. And then giving me little tools so that as time went by and things would crop up, I could use those tools and it would stop me reverting back to my old habits. But we touched on the work-life type situation, and I mean, I've been in my job for 10 years now, and at times I felt it wasn't really working for me, and I felt that my manager was a bit oppressive. And some of that is true. However, my attitude to it was bad.
Yeah.
And so I decided I would change my attitude towards them. And when I did, their attitude changed towards me.
Cool.
And it's improved immensely. We still have little moments where we don't agree. But on the whole, it has improved quite a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's an awesome insight because it's, the corporate world is like that kind of, you're having to fit into it's a bit cookie cutter, right? And you're having to kind of fit into a certain thing. And, you know, we're just also diverse and we're also kind of different and have different values and different priorities. But, you know, there's a job that needs to be done. And
the number of people, I was talking to a mate last night and he's having a whinge and moan about something. And I thought, man, you need to change your attitude. You've never thought about that, have you? I didn't tell him that, but I know I'll tell him that sometime.
Yeah, it's quite powerful.
But he wouldn't even consider it because he thinks he's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So coming back to the when Desma said I wouldn't work with her, because that's quite an interesting part of my process, is that when she first arrived, I explained to her about the subconscious and the conscious mind, and I explained how on a daily basis we think about 95 to 97% approximately in our subconscious, and only about 3 to 5% do we talk in our we're mindful in our conscious mind. And so I have a scale to see whether people are ready to make the change, and it's out of 10.
Oh, okay.
And she was sitting there, and I brought out my scale, and I said to her, how ready are you to make this change? And I could see her sitting there, and we had just talked about the subconscious and the conscious. And she said, and I could see her thinking, and then I could see a number sort of pop in her mind, and then she said, oh no, 6. And I said, okay, sorry then, I don't think you're ready. I need to have my clients in about a 9 or a 10, because that means you really want to make a change, because otherwise I don't want to waste your time. And she said, no. I meant a 9. I first thought a 9. And then I thought, no, I can't say a 9. I better say a 6 because that's too enthusiastic. And I said, well, then I can work with you because now you were actually, first you thought in your conscious mind.
Yeah.
But then your subconscious kicked in and said, no, a 6. And that's a prime example of what happens to us. Consciously, we might think something, and then our subconscious kicks in and thinks something completely different, which is... And so, yeah, it was a prime example for her. And so when we ended, she said, and I said, you did it incredibly, because I could see the huge change that Desma did over 6 months, and she worked extremely hard.
Yeah.
And she really went within, and she really honoured her body from within. And she said, and you didn't want to work with me, and we had a good laugh about it. So, yeah, that's an interesting point as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is weird because perhaps it's strange that we don't want to change, even if it's a bad habit. Like you would kind of think, oh, well, someone wants to give up, right? Someone wants to change if they're a smoker or something like that. Of course they want to give up. But sometimes perhaps they don't. And so talk us around that, because are you ever able to help people who don't want to change?
Change?
Go from a 6 to a 9, like if that person truly was maybe not wanting to change. Or is it just kind of that one's quite difficult? That's probably before you step in.
Jen would say you're not ready.
I would say I would just be honest with them, because I'd say to them, you're not ready. But I do have clients who say they're a 9, and then we start working, and then I can see that there's some areas that they don't want to change.
But some people might say they're a 9 because they're trying to please you or something. I don't, all these little psychological
well, they want
widgets
to do something, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's okay, because then because there's always going to be parts that are going to resist the change, and Desma will talk on that.
So some things you're totally wanting to change, but then others you're not wanting to change.
Yeah, because that's your subconscious telling you, I don't want to change that. This is who I've been all my life. Yeah. Why would I? And it pops up.
So that's Desma, this saying a 6, that was Desma's subconscious going up. Oh,
maybe there was the bad habit that didn't want to change.
No, there was a theory.
Yeah.
And this is, I know it sounds stupid, but anyway.
No,
you underestimate and overachieve. So if someone says, can you do that? Oh, I might be able to.
Okay.
Whereas
yes.
you really nail it, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, well, look, and at the cafe, if we're really busy, we might say there's a 10-minute wait on coffees, but we know there's only a 5-minute wait.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So that was kind of in my head in a way.
Yeah.
It was, if I say 6, and I can be an 8 or something like that, which I thought I might be able to do, then I would have achieved something. But that was really a mental thing for me, thinking that I wasn't good enough.
Right.
But if I tried hard enough, I would be good enough.
Yeah.
So that was just something personal to me.
Yeah.
And it's something that a common human thing we can all relate to.
Totally.
Absolutely. And that's what we call a limiting belief, which we work through those limiting beliefs. I am not good enough. I am this, I am that. And we change the way we speak, the way we think about ourselves. And that's what we did a lot with Desma. I am good enough.
Yeah. I suppose some of those limiting beliefs are designed, like they appear in our mind, subconscious, whatever, because they're designed to kind of protect us to a certain degree. Like, I can't skateboard. I can't do this massive jump or something. And if you completely had no limits, you might just try everything and
we have
forever break all of your bones.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's when you have to really honour those parts,
right?
And you got to say thank you to them for keeping you safe to get to where you are now. But actually, they're not serving you anymore. Right.
Yeah. So it's seeing them in sort of relationship, in reality. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And not overstating them or understating them.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then you have to catch yourself, challenge it, and change it. So if that thought pops up of I'm not good enough,
right,
then you have to say, catch yourself.
Yeah.
Am I? And then change it.
Yeah.
And that's the trick behind it. I mean, I know that I had Post-its all around the house and in my car on the dashboard, with my different changes, because I didn't want the subconscious, and I had to keep on reminding myself.
For you personally?
For me personally, yeah.
How long did you have the Post-it notes around the place?
And sometimes I still write things on my bathroom mirror with a whiteboard marker.
Yeah, why stop?
Because you can imagine I had 58 years of layers of the onion,
Right.
Because those beliefs start at between like 1 and 5 when our subconscious is not really formed. We're quite conscious as kids, and then maybe our friend across the road doesn't want to play with us, and we start thinking, well, I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
And then it happens again later on, and then we create another layer, and then we create another layer, and it just gets bigger and bigger. And so what we want to do is we want to peel back those layers, go back to the core of who we truly are, our true authentic selves, because we're all born these beautiful little humans, but we create these layers that make us somebody that we're not really. And so becoming aware of them, you can move forward.
Yeah. It's kind of a natural thing, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Like, I don't know, it just sounds like the sedimentary layers in the rock and stuff like that. It just kind of layers up over time, the experiences that we have.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like digging down into a few of those little things and saying, hey.
Yeah. And they pop up, and we call them parts.
Yeah.
They're parts of us.
Mm-hmm.
The inner critic, the saboteur, the procrastinator, all these different parts that we have that are all...
The critic, the procrastinator, and the...
All sorts of parts.
Yeah, I've got all of those, whatever they were.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so
I
many.
identified with them immediately.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought you were just describing me.
So all these parts that are in us, and then we might have a part pop up, but then we have another part that starts fighting with that part, and say, no, but I want to have the show here.
Yeah.
And so it's about working with those parts, and those parts are formed when we're very young, and then as we go through life, I don't think if you talk to anybody that I've worked with, you'd never ever. I could be wrong, but I don't think that they'd think that I would have felt that I wasn't good enough, because I had this real confidence about myself.
Yeah.
But actually inside, I felt, I remember I had to present to the board, and I was like, I cannot do this. I literally had sleepless nights. I felt sick to my stomach because I had done audits all around the country, and I had to present the findings to the board. And I looked at my boss and I said to him, I cannot do this. Can you please do it for me?
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, I can do it. I think he could see and kindly he did it for me. Whereas my other boss would have said, no, you can do this, Jen. And I would have just done it. And I kept on pushing, but it just shows that now for me to public speak or for me to sit here talking was a big thing. I had to work very closely with my inner parts to stand up I did a public speaking event maybe about 6 months ago, and now I'm sitting here. But I did a lot of work to get here. Yeah. But if you saw me every day, you wouldn't think that I had those parts popping up.
No.
And a lot of us have it.
Oh, I know everyone has. When I see somebody confident and so forth, they've got all the same shit I have.
Yeah.
But it's just maybe arranged differently in their psyche or whatever.
Absolutely, yeah.
But everyone's got it.
Yeah. So I want to honour Desma for the amazing work she did. And I remember right in the beginning, after we'd done a bit of work, I said to her, why don't you do a vision board? And she Desma was my first client. So I had practical clients, but Desma was my first paying client, which, she'll always be special in my heart for that. And I said to her about the vision board, and she went away and she really put it together, and she's actually brought it with her today, which is so cool. And when she sent it to me, because I got her to send me a photo before our session so I could have a look at it, and I looked at it, and because I was new to coaching, it didn't make sense to me. I kind of looked at it, but it didn't mean anything to me.
Right.
And then she walked in the door with this vision board, and her face lit up, and she started talking about this vision board, and the whole vision board came alive. And it was this whole amazing vision that she had created for herself. And I was like, whoa. And then she called me and said I framed my vision board and it's up in my lounge on my wall. And I'm like, man, this is incredible. And then when I saw her, I went to have coffee with her a few months ago, and I walked in the door and I was like this new person, because a year ago when I started working with Desma, she was very sick, and she would come to my sessions and she would be on the, on the floor, and she'd just be, weren't you, Desma? Yeah.
Coughing and wanting to fall asleep.
She hadn't been honouring her body.
Yeah.
And so we started by honouring her body, but I saw her, and I actually, when I walked in to have a coffee with her, I saw this new person, this vision board had come alive in her. And I'm like, and I said to her, Desma, you look amazing. And she said, everything on that vision board has come true. And I was like, wow, that is amazing.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk
do you start a new one? Have you started a new one? Or?
I haven't.
No.
What do you do when you have what you want?
Yeah, well, true. That's a good point. They say comparison is the thief of joy. Yeah.
So at this point, no, I don't have any plans on creating a new one.
Yeah.
Although that's not saying I won't.
Yeah.
But at the moment, that particular board means a lot to me.
Cool.
When I was making it, I was actually really sick. I had pneumonia and I was at home. And friends would come and visit and I'd say, bring me magazines, I've got homework to do. And so I looked at these magazines. I didn't have the energy really to cut them out or anything like that. So I just marked pages of what I thought I wanted on this board, and then I just threw the magazine aside and went to sleep. And then after a couple of weeks it was time to go and see Jennifer again. I thought, oh damn it, I haven't done this vision board. So I looked at all these markings in the magazine, and there were some that just didn't resonate with me anymore, so I left them out. So it was probably a good thing that I didn't just chop up willy-nilly. And then I cut out the pictures I wanted, and then once again, as I was placing them on the card, I looked and went, no, that's not me, so that went out. And then I thought, okay, if I've got to look at this thing on the wall all the time, I want it to look good. So I went and bought a big piece of card rather than a piece of paper, and then started sticking them down.
Cool.
And there were certain things that I wanted to happen, and so I started to bling it up. I put little bits and pieces on it to make it look prettier. What
kind of topics? So are there things like relationships and career goals and health, like physical health?
Yes. Should I grab the board?
Grab it.
So
Sure.
for
sure. Jenny, you able to?
Right.
Now that your headphones might not.
Yep.
Oh, no.
Yep, they do.
I have long arms. Oops. Where would you like me to position this?
Just show Milton and I to begin with, and then I can hold it up to the camera,
Okay.
possibly.
Yep.
So, when you look at this, it looks a bit chaotic. But in the middle, this is not a wedding cake, okay? This is actually a celebration of my new life. So, I want to have my cake and eat it too.
Yes.
Things I wanted to do, travel, eat with friends, family, have a good time, good food, hiking, something I love. This balancing on this thing here is taking risks in life.
Yeah.
And basically finding the life partner. And things like that.
Is that chocolate or gold bars?
They're gold bars. Now, originally I was thinking, I need plenty of money. I'd love to win lotto. But as time's gone by, I've actually understood that actually means richness of life. Which I have. So pretty much everything on here, I've travelled. I found my life partner. I have richness of life, and I do eat with friends, family, good food. All the things that here. I go hiking. Excuse me. So yeah,
I agree. That's great. That's a great kind of vision board. And now that I've seen it, I can see why you don't need to make another one. Yeah.
And that's why I framed it, because to me it's like a work of art now.
Yeah.
And people actually admire it on my wall.
Yeah.
So it's quite cool.
And I think one of the things that Desma didn't mention was her health. She wanted, good health. And as I said, she was very sick because obviously when our bodies hold a lot of things which then make us sick.
Yeah, pop it down, Desma, and I think what I can do is probably take a photograph of it and then
That's cool.
overlay it.
I know what a vision board is now. I wasn't quite sure what one was.
Yeah. So, let's talk about that whole mind-body connection, right? Because that's something which is a bit of a mystery and people almost sort of can't quite comprehend how you can be... How those two things interact. And
so I guess, just to keep it simple, the big thing is also listening to your intuition. So when Desma started working with me, she didn't really know what I did. She didn't really know me.
I could tell you're very intuitive, Jennifer. I was going to talk about that before, but yeah.
Would you like to talk about it?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about that.
Intuition.
Well, let's talk about what Dave, the mind-body thing.
Oh, okay. So listening to what your body's saying, listening to what's happening within. And so when Desma arrived, we did a lot of that where we just honoured how she was feeling, because over the years she had just squashed it down, and especially our generation, you had to suck it up, take a concrete pill and harden up, and just never take a day's sick leave because that wasn't done. And so you just push, and eventually your body, what happens is your body starts to whisper, and then it starts to scream. And if you think of how we treat our best friends better than we treat our own bodies, and how amazing is this body that we have. And so that's the mind-body connection. It's listening to that inner voice, listening to doing a body scan from the top of your head down to your toes, actually stopping and doing the simple things like lying on the grass and looking at the clouds and going, okay, what am I actually feeling? Why am I sick? Why am I so stressed? Why, because otherwise so that's in a very simple nutshell.
Yeah, which also sounds pretty similar to the definition of intuition to a certain degree. Is it? Or what's intuition, like the definition of that? Is that kind of an internal sort of...
trusting.
Thing.
What?
Yeah.
So a prime example was when I talked about it earlier on when I was in the corporate world, and one of my bosses came to me on a Friday and said to me, Jen, can you manage this person? Can you do X, Y, and Z? And I knew straight away that it was not for me. And it was not going to be an easy task. And I said no. And then what happened the whole weekend, I stewed on it. I felt guilty. Why? I said no, I should have honoured that. But I didn't. And by the time I got to work on Monday, I said, okay, I'll do it. Right. And it was one of the worst things I could have done. Because I didn't honour saying no, which was my intuition that knew it wasn't right for me.
Yeah.
But so that's the kind of thing that we do.
So why does our mind present itself, this information through our body, which is intuition? Why does that happen? I mean,
like the gut kind of feeling,
I guess we're all linked up in our brain. I'm just talking it through. I'm just wondering what is intuition and why it presents it.
It could be a protection
through
thing.
our body.
I mean, if a tiger jumps out at you in the jungle and you need to respond pretty quick, like your intuition is going to kick in pretty quickly to run.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So maybe the manager at work might
I think that's
sort of
more,
say
more
something.
instincts. But
instinct. Right. Okay.
But
that's a good point.
No, I'm just trying to get the mind-body modality.
Maybe it's a defence mechanism. An internal defence mechanism that you don't really know about, but pops up at certain times, and you just get a feeling. You think, I really don't want to do that. And you start going, and you can feel it, but your mind sometimes takes over and says, oh yeah, I can do that, or you want to please somebody.
Exactly.
So you do that. So that would be my interpretation.
Yeah.
It's your internal defence mechanism, and you're not listening to it. And maybe you should start.
Yeah.
It's that gut feeling, isn't it? It's so powerful.
Yeah.
And trusting the process too. Trusting that, when I went to pick up Desma today, and my Google Maps kept on taking me in circles, and I'm thinking, okay, so what to now? I mean, if it was Jen before, I would have been in a state.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh well, this is all happening. What do you do about it?
Yeah. Kind of just roll with it.
And I tried to call her, and she was on, airplane mode or whatever. And then I just thought, okay, I'll change maps now. And then she got my message and called, and we were here on time. But it's about just taking a breath and saying, okay, sometimes these things happen for a reason.
Yeah.
So the intuition is perhaps an optimal personal navigation device or operating system, and it gets all other stuff gets in the way and blocks it all up to our own negative results.
Absolutely,
something like that.
Yeah, because that's your subconscious, that negativity bias, which we talked about the other day. Because as Dave said, when we were in the olden days, you had to, when you lived in the bush and you had, to survive, you had to see if there was any lions or, out there, and they had to protect your family, and you couldn't step out of their tribes, let's say, because otherwise you were outcasted. You had to, go with them. But nowadays we don't have to live in that negativity bias and keep on looking. Is it safe?
In that old environment, we had to trust our instincts. We had to trust our intuitions.
Yes.
Without trying to work out what the hell it is. It's like, you have to trust in this now or you're going to die.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we're more closely attuned to it.
Yeah, we have to use our senses.
And I think our immune system is also similar in a way, because that's constantly checking to see whether what's coming into our body is okay for us or not. And it gets rid of the bad. And sometimes the bad does get in and it does kind of take over for a short time, but the immune system will kind of conquer it eventually, hopefully.
Yeah.
And I suppose our minds are very similar in some respects. We have to make sure we have a sort of a resilient, we need to look after it, right? We can't just let it, it requires work. And I think an immune system, you can't just let it, my immune system will just look after itself. And you're eating heaps of junk food and chain smoking cigarettes or something.
Or working 80 hours a week.
Yeah. So there will be consequences.
Absolutely. Your body will eventually say stop.
Yes.
And
or worrying about every little
Absolutely.
detail, just dragging down your immune system through all those negative chemicals and so forth.
Absolutely. And then you get things like chronic jaw pain. Because you're sleeping 4.5-5 hours a night, and then you don't realise, but at night you're clenching your jaw, and then after time, eventually you go to chew your steak and you can't chew your steak, and you're like, it's only when you can't eat you go, hey, what's going on here?
Which can happen for some people. It can really physically debilitate people.
Because when you've got a family to feed, or you've got people to show up for, when you've got a big job in a company or whatever, then you've got to, you've got to do whatever it takes.
Totally.
And that can be a good thing, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, community's good. And it's...
if someone passes away and you have a couple of days grieving or whatever, it's good to get back into work and get back into life. I think, having work can be a very good thing as well.
Absolutely.
Crucial.
Yeah. But then again, on the other hand, grieving, some people just squash the grief. Or they say, somebody will pass and then they say, well, I've already got this massive overseas trip planned, I'll grieve later.
Oh, no, I was assuming good grieving habits was involved in my pre-assumptions there.
Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah,
not crushing,
I listened to a podcast.
Obviously, grieving is very important in the moment.
I listened to a podcast the other day, and this chap's brother killed himself, and he didn't even leave work that day. He was so toughened and hardened, and had this desire to be strong, that he wouldn't even leave. He just kept on. He said, and that afternoon, like his brother's face kept on popping in his mind, and he just kept on pushing it out.
That's
And
incredible.
yeah, amazing, eh? But then, as he was telling the story, he was kind of like weeping and stuff. So he's come to terms with it, and he's obviously realised this perhaps wasn't a great coping mechanism.
Because it's so unnatural to not grieve.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
So we really do some crazy mental gymnastics to accommodate some really unhealthy things in our lives, don't we?
We do.
Yeah.
We do.
So this guy had an idea about masculinity and toughness and so forth. It's like, I've got to wear this hat.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
That means I can't grieve for my brother who just killed himself. And
Yeah,
what have you. And he's got this story going on.
Yeah.
It's like this fabrication.
Yeah. That he's learned something along the way, hasn't he?
Yes. And I assume he's trying to please somebody
Yes.
by having that story.
He was trying to please his father.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yep.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, no, it's amazing. And I look over my life and all the things that I squashed just to keep going. And I think, in a way, I kind of get embarrassed. I'm like, what, Jennifer, did you really do that? To where I'm living now, so more aligned with this. And also, you said masculine, and something that popped up for me there was I became very masculine in my work. I was very... Everything had to be
unemotional,
delegate out,
Yeah.
take more on, delegate out, and to work with somebody like that is not very pleasant, and even for my children, it's very tough to have a mother who walks in the door and height and flight and just always going at 300 miles an hour and got a tick box thing. That's hard to live with.
Well, you would be thinking, I'm being so productive.
Absolutely. I just thought I was doing my best.
Yeah.
But now I look back and I go, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So now I'm more in my feminine, and
Yeah.
that was why I did when I saw your podcast with Irene.
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah.
I because I've looked at all the various areas of my life, and
Yeah.
I just worked all the time, and whatever, and I didn't have any creativity, and so I listened to your podcast,
Yeah.
and I was like, hell, Irene said, if you've got a phone, you can come and do my
That's
8-week
right.
course.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, and I went to Irene and I did an 8-week photography course with her because I
Yeah.
had a phone. I didn't have to have a fancy camera.
Yeah.
And we walked around the city at night and we took photos of the city, and we made a photo book, our own photo book of all these photos we took.
Yeah.
And it was so much fun. I put myself out there. And so that's the kind of thing I like to, the work that I do with my clients is not all heavy because I'm not I'm not a counselor or a psychologist. I'm just here to bring out the best version of which,
So did you find that quite therapeutic in a way? Like
I
doing
loved
that?
it.
Yeah.
And I met different people.
Yeah.
And I arrived there, and there was about 10 or 12, mainly men, and they all had some interest in photography. They had these fancy cameras, and they all had done some, and I had done nothing.
Yeah.
But I didn't
That's
care.
so cool.
I thought, oh, well,
Yeah,
who cares?
yeah.
I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
And I was following them around looking, what are they taking photos of? So it was so much fun.
Yeah, that's quite a liberating kind of thing to do,
Yeah.
which is just totally, I don't know if it's outside your comfort zone or not, but it's just completely left field.
I was very out of my comfort zone.
I think it's good for us humans to, don't know why I said that. It's stupid when people say us humans, we're all humans. But we learn a new language or play an instrument or do those things that they say that's really good for your mind and helps prevent Alzheimer's and dementia and things like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what was the point, Jim, when you realised you'd too much in this uptight masculinity, and what was the process of moving into your femininity? Just briefly.
To be honest, I got a coach.
Oh.
I got a coach, and I have to share that story with you because it's actually quite funny. My daughter, who's a coach herself, came in and said, Mum, I'd left the corporate and I was exhausted. At 58 years of all go, it's not a good look. I was finished. And she said, you need a coach. And she said, I know this coach, and I'd seen the work he'd done. And she said, give him a call. You have an hour call with this guy and just see if he works for you. So I gave him a call, and it was an amazing call. And then she said, now, she came in afterwards and she looked at me and she said, it's the money, isn't it? And I was like, yeah, because now I was a single mum, and I had such a scarcity mindset. I did not spend any money on myself.
Yeah.
Forget about that. She said, in order to make a change, you've got to get a coach. And you've got to spend the money. So I said, oh, okay. So I got out my credit card and I paid for the guy, and it was the Tuesday night. I didn't sleep a wink that night because I felt so guilty that I'd spent this money. She came in the next morning and said, you didn't sleep, did you? And I was like, mm-mm. And she said, it's okay. You wait till you meet him. And I met him on the Thursday, and I was like, hallelujah. This is exactly what I need.
Cool.
And it just went from there, and I've had a coach ever since. And it's, that's what's helped me make my change, because they challenge me and they hold me accountable. Yeah. And they also, my coach now, she helps me visit my paths so that they don't keep on popping up, or if they do, I know how to deal with them, like, because they normally pop up at 3 a.m, and then you're like, whoa. So, yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Your daughter, Nicole, you're talking about Nicole.
Yeah, I am, yeah.
Nicole was lovely, Jen, and
thank you.
She was really nice to Sam and I when we were in, hospital and stuff, and she came and talked to Sam and did a lot of things. Sam was a friend of mine that was really ill, or is a friend of mine, and Nicole was like lovely, and she sort of helped us understand some of those things to do with the mind-body relationship and what have you.
Yeah, it's quite amazing, and thank you for saying that, because she is an incredible girl, and she's been hugely involved in my change. So she also got me into strength-based training, which I had never done before. Of course I wouldn't have. I just put my running shoes on and go for a quick run, because everything was done quickly. So go for a quick run. What's that going to do for you? I mean, it got it got me feeling a bit. But now, and then she got me into strength-based training and said, Mum, you got to do some strength for your bones. You're getting older, and also it really helps with your sleep, with your stress, with all that kind of stuff.
Are you still doing it? Or I think, Nicole, you mentioned at one point that you were getting into the ice bath thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Do you still do that, or have you ever done it? Or
Yeah, absolutely. And I have a friend who's also a coach, and she invited me to her place in Redcliffs, and she's built her own sauna, and she has a sauna and this beautiful view.
Right.
And then she said, and we're going to go in the ice bath after this, and we walked around the corner, and it was a freezer.
Yes. Yeah.
And we both jumped into the freezer together, and we said, this is hilarious. Who would have ever thought when we met that we'd be sitting in this ice bath in a freezer overlooking this beautiful view together? Yeah. So, absolutely.
That's funny. We're sitting in a bit of smoke right now.
Sorry, it's a little bit smoky.
It's just
that's all right.
Well, yesterday
it's like a dance buddy.
I made a cheesecake, and some of the oil dropped out onto the bottom of the stove, and just when I turned it up to 220, it's just burning off. It should be gone in a second.
That's all right.
Turn the fan on.
Have you ever done any of those kind of physical therapy kind of things, Desma?
Well,
have you ever explored that kind of area where there's that?
In a way, you touched on pushing your boundaries and doing things you otherwise wouldn't do. I've certainly done that in the sense that you wouldn't realise it, but I can be quite a shy person. So when I meet people for the first time, I can be quite edgy in myself. I'm not worried about it. So I challenged myself to do things. And this was even before I met Jen, because after I'd had children and went back to work, I ended up with a job at a lotto store. So you had to talk to people all the time.
Totally. And everyone would have said, I want the winning ticket, please.
Yeah.
And you would have been pulling your hair out going,
I was so nervous.
That joke again.
And I thought, what the hell am I going to do? How can I cope with this? So I thought, I'm going to pretend. I'm going to play shops like when I was a kid.
Totally, yeah.
And so I did that. And the person that owned the place said, oh, do you know that person? I said, no, never met them before in my life. But I thought, okay, that's working. So I kept doing it. Fake it till you make it, right? So anyway, as time went by and I met Jen, and also I had a few things happen in my life. A really good friend of mine decided she was going to quit work and travel New Zealand in a house truck.
Cool.
because she was diagnosed with a condition that would deteriorate her
Right.
body. So she wanted to do things while she could. And then in the course of the next month or so, a friend I'd had for 20 years, she died. And I thought, hell, all my friends are, dissipating in various directions. I needed to find new friends, try new things. So I joined Meetup.
Oh, yeah.
And I was pretty scared because you have to meet new people. So I chose to do Patonk because I figured they played it at the beach. If I didn't like them, I could run away.
That's a great plan.
Yeah, that was a great plan.
Yeah.
I still go to Patonk every week
Nice.
and enjoy the company and the game. We don't play it seriously. But then, of course, I thought, okay, I've always liked walking. I would join a walking group.
Yep.
And then on one particular week, we walked up a hill and I was puffing and blowing like a chimney. And I thought, oh, my God, this isn't very good. I was a lot bigger then too. And so I thought, I need to do some hill walking. So I joined a hiking one through Meetup and started doing that. And that's where I met Jen. So I thought, okay. And I did that for quite some time. But I always wanted to dance.
Oh, yeah.
But as a kid, I thought, it's not possible. But through various people that I've met through the Meetup, they said, oh, yeah, I do rock and roll. I've been doing it for years. But there's a lot of women that don't have partners. So she wanted to learn the male role. Would I be her female role?
Yep.
And anyway, I said yes, went along. So did a bit of rock and roll with her, and we still go from time to time and dance. And then another friend through Meetup said, oh, there's free lesson swing dancing. Do you want to come along and give it a go? I mean, I didn't even know what it was, but I said, okay.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah.
And I had several sessions of lessons and still go when they're the free ones.
Cool. So that physical movement and exercise just kind of... and dance especially is kind of like a freeing kind of thing, isn't
there's
it?
a movement in your mind beforehand by saying, yes,
I'm going to dance.
I'm going to do that.
Yeah. But I also learned a language.
Yeah.
So I still can't speak it fluently, but I can read it, write it. I just don't know what I'm saying.
What language is it?
Korean.
Korean.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Why did you choose Korean?
Well, that's a funny story, actually. My local market is an Asian food market. And I used to go there a lot.
Yeah.
And behind the counter was a poster for an event. And the owner of the store said, oh, you should come along, bring your family.
Yeah.
It was like a talent show.
Oh, okay.
Only I didn't know that at the time. And so anyway, I didn't have anything on that week, so I went along. It was an absolutely wonderful event, all in Korean. Didn't understand a single thing.
Yeah.
But the people there were really lovely, and that's another thing, pushing yourself to do something. I went somewhere where I knew no one on my own.
And nothing bad happened.
Nothing bad happened.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. It was great. And I thought, actually, I'd like to come back next year and understand some of what they were saying.
Cool.
So I thought, okay, so how do I start learning? So I actually ordered some little kiddies books online so I could learn the alphabet and how to write it and what it sounded like. And then I started learning songs off YouTube so that I could get the pronunciation.
K-pop?
Some of that, and watching some movies.
Yep.
Just to get the gist of it.
Doing it Gangnam style.
Not exactly.
Oh.
And then I found out that at Hagley College they have night classes. So I went there for 2 years. And then I thought, right, I'm going to travel to Korea.
Yeah.
And I was meant to go with my son, but unfortunately he lost his job before we could buy our tickets. And then it was like, well, do I pay for him or not? But anyway, I went on my own.
Fair enough.
I thought you were going to say yes.
Yeah, me too. But, you know,
I've been
That's
told
great.
I love it.
you know,
That's so good.
tough decision.
Yeah, tough decision, but yeah, I went on my own and I had a wonderful time. But I also learnt that I knew absolutely nothing about the language.
Wow. Right.
But what I did
Yeah.
know helped me out when I couldn't find my way somewhere. I could ask someone for help and things like that. And also I got to meet a woman. I joined language exchange, so that would help with my Korean language and also teach someone English.
Oh, yeah.
And I got to meet the person that I've been talking to for the last 18 months.
Wow.
And she showed me around a wee bit.
Yeah.
So that was really good. But when I came back, because of that, I didn't go back to school for the third year. I felt I wasn't ready for it. And then I found through Meetup, once again, they had this little language lesson thing that we could go to at the Undercroft at the university. And it was more informal, but you learnt everyday language rather than the written formal language.
I see, yeah.
And every second week we go and do an activity, like we might go for a hike or have a picnic or whatever. So the Korean people that attended learnt English and vice versa. So it turned out to be quite a good thing. So all of those things I've forced myself to do. At the time I was scared, believe me. But once you get there and interacting with people, and they tend to be more welcoming than you think,
Yeah.
it all just works out. And so, yeah, I've pretty much had an amazing time.
Oh, that's great.
You know,
Yeah.
Desma and I wouldn't have met if we hadn't have both put ourselves out there. Because I
Yeah,
also
exactly.
put myself out to go to Meetup because I wanted to hike the hills.
Yeah.
And I've done heaps of the hills around here now, and that was all through Meetup.
Yeah.
And so, that's where we met, which was amazing.
I've never heard of Meetup. I know a few people who would perhaps like to go along to that.
It's amazing, and you just meet some wonderful people.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
That's cool. Hey,
So how's your energy levels now, Desma?
I'm starting to get them back now. For about a year, I'd suffered various illnesses, all mainly respiratory, because I had COVID, then I got some sort of chest infection, then I had pneumonia, so I was laid out in bed last winter pretty much
When
the
I
whole
met you.
time. Yeah, and I still have a bit of a cough going on here because I'm asthmatic anyway. But my overall health now, because I'm diabetic as well, I'm almost back to normal levels. I'm just a few points off being in the normal range.
Which is amazing.
Yeah. So I used to take a lot of medication, and for my diabetes alone, I would take 4 tablets morning and night. I now take 1 morning and night. And the asthma is far more under control. I don't even use a blue one most days, whereas before I used that morning and night regularly every day for years. I went for a walk last night with my son up in the Kashmir Hills from my house in Sydenham. A 10k walk, and we're most of it uphill, and he's got a smartwatch. So he said, "I'll put that on, Mum, we'll check and see how you're going." And he said, "I don't understand it," he said. "Your heart rate is quite low, yet you're puffing away." And I'm still trying to get the lung capacity back, but the body's willing.
wow, that's
Yeah.
remarkable. So did you even consider that your physical issues were kind of related to
Not at all.
the mental other things? So
Emotions, yeah.
wow.
No. But after working with Jennifer, it kind of all clicked into place that there were certain things happening. And something I'll reiterate, which is really important, is what you think in your mind happens to your body or your environment around you. So if you're a negative person, you tend to attract negativity in some way, shape or form. But if you have positive thoughts, think good things, even if you don't want to. You end up having a better day, and each day gets better along the way.
Yeah.
And that's kind of happened for me. I don't get up and dread going to work or anything like that anymore. I just get up and get energised and do my routine, and off I go to work. And most days I have a really good day.
Yeah.
I can't really explain it other
No,
than
that's
that.
amazing.
Really proud
That's
of
great.
you.
I mean, you've got results, which prove.
Yeah, I think that dread going to work is a tough one for many people. They wouldn't admit it, just wouldn't admit it. But actually, you don't have to dread to go and do whatever if you...
Yeah. Well, I do like my job, and I always liked my job. It was just my negativity was reflecting on how I felt about the work, and when I got there, it was a Debbie Downer. And now I don't feel that way at all. And I still like my job.
Yeah. Oh, well, thanks for coming in and sharing your story. It's awesome to hear. And Jen, thank you as well. Now, I saw on your Instagram page there's a giveaway.
Yeah.
Is that happening now?
Yeah, that's happening.
How do
I think it's
people
drawn next Thursday. They
get
just-
involved in that? How does
So
people
it's on
apply?
my Instagram.
Yep.
Jennifer _Kean, KEAN _.
Yep.
And that's for 8 sessions with me, one-on-one coaching online.
Cool.
So I have clients throughout New Zealand, and I hope to expand
Sweet
anywhere
as.
in the world.
Okay, I think it's a wrap.
Thank you.
We'll make you some breakfast and
Thank you
guys.
so much. We
Good.
really appreciate it. You holding the space for us.
Oh,
cool.
it's
Yeah,
been
to share.
lovely having you both here.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you,
thank you
Desma.
so much.
Okay.